We do have a special guest here on the program, Richard Ojeda. He's been on the show many times. That was a state senator over in West Virginia, ran for Congress, got screwed out of that race because of Donald Trump going in there and taking care of business at the last minute. He can talk about that if he likes. I know that's old hat now. That was back in 2018, but he does a Facebook show, YouTube show, 8:30 every night, I believe. You can correct me if okay, 8:30 every night. Definitely check it out. Richard Ojeda, Ojeda on Facebook, YouTube. The list goes on. On Twitter, it's Ojeda for America. Uh, First of all, for people that don't know, this man served our country. He's a great American, and thank you for doing what you're doing. And there's a lot of military issues that I'd like to speak to you about, but thanks for always coming on. I really appreciate you.
I always appreciate coming on the Life Taco, man. It's good stuff.
I want to talk to you about this, but first, kind of my journey of political homelessness. We'll get into that in just a second right now. You just moved to North Carolina in a couple months back. Do you miss West Virginia? It seems like it's a shit show over there in plain English. The governor's race is a joke right now. We have Shelley Moore Caput, what is it, her grandson or her son is running there, and Patrick Morsy's up again.
Because everybody in the Capito family, they don't know how to do any other job other than politics. It's the whole family's a bunch of grifters, and they've always been that way. And the Republican Party in West Virginia is an absolute joke. And I'm not at all angered that I left. North Carolina is absolutely way better.
Okay. Can you give a quick synopsis on what you think is going to happen in the Senate race specifically? Because the congressional races are really a joke. There's no Democrats even running for the first or the second congressional district.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad, but there's just nobody that wants to. It's so bad in West Virginia, and the politicians are such grifters and liars and cheats that it's at the point now where nobody even wants to run against them because they don't want to feel like they're going to be linked in that same group. In terms of the Senate, there's another person who's running on the Democratic side by the name of Zach Shrewsbury. And Zach is a former Marine, squared away guy. I've spoke to him many times. He's running. Of course, the governor of West Virginia, Jim Justice, is now, he's done being the governor. So now he's thinking he's going to run for Senate. And what's really messed up is he just got his helicopter basically taken from him because he doesn't pay his bills. And, if you think that he wants to go to the Senate so that he can help the people of West Virginia, he wants to go to the Senate so he can get in some of that insider trading that they all get away with, so he can basically enrich himself even more. He is an absolute piece of trash. Doesn't give a shit about his miners that work for his company. He works them 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And make no mistake about it, he absolutely shortchanges a lot of his miners. And when they say something about it, he says, if you don't like the way I pay you, go work somewhere else. So that's the guy that in West Virginia is seeking the Senate seats. Absolute garbage.
Well, we also do have another criminal, Joe Manchin, already in there.
Joe Manchin's in that. Joe Manchin is an absolute lying sack of garbage. Joe Manchin only does what benefits Joe Manchin and his crew. He knows that if he runs for Senate, he's probably going to lose. Sadly, the people of West Virginia will literally allow Jim Justice to show up, and as long as he brings his big, fat, obese bulldog with him, everybody goes, oh, that's Baby Dog. Let's get a picture with Baby Dog, and they vote for his ass. It's absolute garbage. So Joe Manchin doesn't want to end his political career with a loss. Technically, he can run for one more term as governor because he had won his second term, and then a month later, we lost our senator who passed away. And of course, Joe Manchin decided to say, I'll leave the governor spot and become the senator. So he appointed himself into the role. And then there's also the possibility of him maybe taking over WVU because Gordon Gee has basically been, I guess, given a vote of no confidence, and they're going to get rid of him. So that's another aspect. But we also know that Joe Manchin is good buddies with the No Labels group, which is also
Right.
no values, no morals group. And that's what he wants to do. So, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, Joe Manchin's going to do what benefits Joe Manchin and Joe Manchin's family, what puts more money in their pockets. They're already multimillionaires. I just, you know, it's a shame that we have to have people like Joe Manchin, you know, that is in a leadership role that don't give two shits about the people of West Virginia. He only cares about himself. His garbage children are garbage too. His daughter destroyed a damn college because Joe Manchin pressured them into giving her a degree that she didn't earn. So, I mean, the whole family's just friggin' garbage, man. West Virginia is a friggin', you know, if the people of West Virginia don't get their heads out of their asses, West Virginia is going to cease to exist.
Yeah, it's extremely sad. I want to go into this and try to, you know, level with you on this. You know, we've talked a lot on this program, and a lot of people listening have heard my story. You know, I was growing up in a union middle class home, always voted Democrat. My family did. They were probation and parole officers, both. You know, I grew up, you know, registered to vote in Florida, 18 years old, voted for Hillary Clinton in the primary against Barack Obama, then voted for Barack Obama twice, voted for Hillary Clinton, voted for Joe Biden in 2020. Also a Bernie Sanders guy in 16 and 20. It's gotten to the point with me is that there's so much corruption on both sides that I feel like I'm politically homeless. Again, I know you use this word a lot. You know, Trump is a jackaloon. I think he's a joke too. But, you know, Biden has, I feel like personally, and I'm sure you can rebut this, has not done anything where I could feel like I could vote for him. Again, in the primary in Florida, I'm voting for Robert Kennedy. I love the family as being originally from the Northeast. I think they did great things.
You talking about RFK?
Yes.
The hell's wrong with you? RFK's no Democrat. RFK is an anti-vaxxer. Don't give two shits about this country.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. The last day after the second year of Joe Biden, his last day before the Republicans took over, he signed 45 bills into law. And those were bills that created the PACT Act, the CHIPS Act, you know, his infrastructure package. He's created more jobs than anybody in the history of our country. So I'll be honest with you, I'm a little like taken back that you're looking at RFK. That guy's a sack of shit. And he's only in this so that he could be a spoiler and try to hurt Joe Biden. And if you think that they won't even put him on all the damn ballots, he's no labels.
But he did do a lot of good for the environment. If you look at his record, he cleaned up a lot of, you know, through his court cases, being an environmentalist. If you even go back farther, you know, as a person from history to another person that, you know, believes in history, in 2004, there was an issue with ballots back in Ohio between George Bush and John Kerry, where there was a lot of black people in Ohio that were having trouble with their votes getting counted. RFK Jr. was there on the ground trying to make sure that those ballots were counted. And again, there was a lot of liberals and left-leaners that were with him at the time, with him, with the environment. You know, I know people have the different opinions on the vaccine. I think it's terrible that it's got political like that as far as that goes. And I don't believe in dividing each other. And that's why I think
that's exactly what RFK is doing. RFK is not running to win. He's running to divide. He's running to hurt Joe Biden. Let me tell you something. Joe Biden has also reduced the deficit by literally $2 trillion right now. Literally by $2 trillion.
But why would you say he's trying? Because he's taking more votes away from Trump because they see the vaccine issue, because they see the issues of the freedom.
No, let me tell you something. Issue. The plan for no labels. The plan for no labels. When no labels first surfaced, the plan that they put out was that they were going to only put people on the ballot in these states where Joe Biden barely beat Donald Trump. So how does that work? If all you do is run RFK in Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia, because you know that Joe Biden barely won those states, you're taking votes away from Joe Biden. They're trying to put Donald Trump back in office.
Yeah,
and
but I'm saying
RFK
that
is a part of that.
But I'm saying that Donald Trump's approval rating with RFK voters is higher than Joe Biden's.
Let me
You
tell
don't
you
agree
something.
with
Let
that?
me tell you something. No, I don't, man. I don't. I'm looking at this country. First and foremost, Donald Trump is the worst person to ever occupy the chair.
Yeah,
And
but you know I'm not a Trump guy, though.
I know
Richard.
you're not
Come
a
on.
Trump guy, but let me tell you something.
Yeah.
RFK is not. RFK is a sack of shit. RFK is in this because he absolutely is falling. Well, he's part of it. They're trying to screw friggin' Joe Biden. And at the end of the day, you can say all you want about him being 81 years old. Joe Biden is he's hitting home run. Joe Biden is having a absolute phenomenal first term.
Richard, wouldn't you say that Joe Biden, the Democrats, screwed Bernie Sanders in the 2020 election when Bernie Sanders won Iowa? When Bernie Sanders.
First and foremost, you know what, man? Bernie Sanders is he's never really been a real contender as far as I'm concerned. Never has. I've met Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is a nice guy, but there's no way on this earth that the Republicans or the Democrats will ever give a Bernie Sanders a shot. It's not going to happen. That's the last thing in the world that they want. So
then how can we say that we have democracy if somebody like Bernie Sanders will never have a shot, though?
Well, he doesn't have a shot because he's freaking independent, and independents can't win. If he was,
but shouldn't we be trying to break up the two-party system, do something like they do in Europe?
I don't have a problem with that. But the problem is that what you and I say right now isn't going to change shit. We can scream that we want to get rid of the two-party system, and it's not going to happen. What we have to do right now is we've got to do everything that we can to save our democracy. And RFK is not the savior of our democracy. Donald Trump is the tanker of our democracy. And Joe Biden, absolutely, I don't give a shit what anybody says. Joe Biden, we need to give him another 4 years. He's reduced the deficit by $2 trillion. The only people who've ever reduced the damn deficit is Clinton, Clinton, Obama, and now Joe Biden. That's it. So we need to give him some more time.
Well, Clinton did do the best job as far as balancing the budget, but and I agree with you there.
But Clinton didn't inherit, $23 trillion.
Oh, that was Bush, though. That wasn't. I wouldn't say that was Trump. That was started under Bush, continued under Obama, then continued under Trump, and now it's continuing under Biden. So this was all started with Iraq and Afghanistan, and then it led into all these other wars that, you were in the military, this stuff better than me.
Well, my thing is that right now our democracy is on the table. And the last thing we can do is take our eyes off the prize. If RFK wins, I'm telling you right now, we are not going down the right path. We are not going down the right path. If Joe Biden wins, I'll tell you right now, Joe Biden wins, he will continue to do amazing things. And then in 2028, Gavin Newsom is going to run. Yeah. And Gavin Newsom will win, and he will do amazing. Gavin Newsom manages the budget of California, which is bigger than most countries. So Gavin Newsom is absolutely qualified to run this country. I have no issues at all with him. I think that he is a very intelligent person, and he puts people in their place. But I think that we need to give Joe Biden another 4 years.
Since you just tapped into Gavin Newsom, that was the next question. So obviously Gavin Newsom was at the Republican debate. He been on Hannity. This is a guy that's not afraid to go anywhere. I think out of any Democrat that has a chance at running for president 2024, 2028, Gavin Newsom is the guy. He's got the look. He's a good-looking guy. He can talk the talk. He can get the woman's vote. He can get the liberal vote. He's a guy that can get out the vote in general. And I think he's like an Obama type of guy. Regardless of that, he's went out there and done all these events for Joe Biden, traveled to Florida, traveled to Texas. He's at the Republican debate, as we just stated. It seems like, and, maybe I'm going down the rabbit hole. Pull me back if you think I'm going too far down. It seems like Joe Biden maybe is, going to keep running, and then something, God forbid, if something happens to Joe Biden, which he is an older guy, just as Donald Trump is, if he's not able to finish the run or, finish his time in office, somebody like Gavin Newsom is already waiting in the wings and can really take off, whether it's Kamala Harris or whoever the heck they want to keep for vice president or put in there. I think that's a ticket that's way better. And, I know you're a Biden guy. I think Gavin Newsom's a guy that can really go.
No. Let me tell you, that's a scenario that we've spoke about that I know of.
Okay.
And the truth is that at the last minute, if Joe Biden was looking,
you agree though, just to interrupt, I apologize for interrupting. You believe though that Gavin Newsom is better to run for president than Kamala Harris?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you.
I but my thing is this: is that's something that's been spoken of, and at the last minute, if Joe Biden looks and says, the people in America are just not going to vote for an 81-year-old man. If Joe Biden makes that decision and says, you know what, I can't win because they're not going to vote for me over my age, let that sink in. They're not going to vote for Joe Biden because of his age, but yet Donald Trump is 3 years younger, but Donald Trump can't even say a sentence that anybody can even understand.
He's definitely, Donald Trump's also lost a step, just like Joe Biden.
Yeah, but Joe Biden still can handle business and run circles around Donald Trump. But if at the last minute we found out that was something that was talked about, and all of a sudden at the last minute Joe Biden says, you know what, I'm going to step aside. Kamala Harris is going to be the vice president for Gavin Newsom. That's, to me, that wouldn't hurt my feelings at all.
But you and I are okay with that. But the question is the Democratic Party okay with that? Because they go with the identity politics game. Joe Biden, and I've read books about the 2020
it's only
election.
If Joe Biden makes the decision to step down.
But I've read, but I'm trying to get to the point that I read books about the 2020 election. These are not Republican books. These are very straightforward reporters. MSNBC, NBC wrote these books about the 2020 election saying that Joe Biden wanted to pick Amy Klobuchar for vice president. They got along like peanut butter and jelly. He wanted to pick the governor of Michigan also. But because of the George Floyd riots, they had to pick a black woman. They went to Kamala Harris due to that reason. That was in the book, multiple books that I've read about that subject. And again, and this is the problem I have with the Democratic Party now, is with the identity politics game, is that they put in Kamala Harris. The question is, again, if Joe Biden has to step aside, is that going to be a move that Gavin Newsom is able to step in, and you're not going to have people bitching and moaning saying, how come Kamala Harris isn't going to become president?
No. Gavin Newsom, everybody knows that Gavin Newsom is probably going to be the one in 2028. At the end of the day, if that's what the Democratic Party decides, if Joe Biden is okay with it, that Kamala basically rolls right over and becomes Gavin Newsom's vice president, that's fine. At the end of the day, people of color in this country, there's many circumstances or many situations where people of color feel like they don't matter, that nobody allows them to matter. Yeah, but we've
had Barack Obama for 8 years. Come on.
And we had Barack Obama for 8 years. Our country today is literally just as much racist now as I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen so much blatant racism in my life. The fact that literally people are now practically attacking, our democracy because we elected a person of color. And at the end of the day, Kamala Harris, a lot of people supported Joe Biden because, a person of color. There's nothing wrong with that.
I disagree. I think a lot of people supported Joe Biden because Donald Trump was on the ballot.
Hey, tell me something. What's the situation here? What are we trying to go to here?
I just want to, good back and forth about this subject.
I'm a fucking Democrat. I'm a Democrat. I give a shit about Democratic policies. I'm sick and tired of the friggin' Republican damn shit show that we see every single day. I don't want to see not one single one of those friggin' assholes elevate themselves. You know, we're about ready to have literally Jim Jordan as the Speaker of the House. And they, you know what, the Republicans have done nothing. They haven't passed a single friggin' bill in the last 9 friggin' months. And right now they're an absolute shit show. And the mere fact that we can sit here and literally still be talking about Republicans going anywhere literally friggin' sickens me.
Well, no, I agree with you. I mean, the problem is, again, is that we have...
Well, the problem is that you're wanting to talk about this age thing, and what you're doing is you're painting friggin' Joe Biden into a friggin' corner, and you're not saying jack shit about the friggin' Republicans. And once again,
but we're saying that, but we're saying that Trump's age definitely matters too. We shouldn't have two guys that are 80 and 78 years old.
Yeah, but what you don't understand is the Republicans. The Republican voters in this country aren't talking about friggin' Donald Trump's age. They're not saying shit about it. They're saying Trump, Trump, Trump. What you're doing is we're basically putting Joe Biden in a corner, and we're saying, well, maybe he's not able. Joe Biden is running circles around friggin' Donald Trump. Joe Biden can ride a bike. He can run a 5K. Donald Trump shits himself twice a day and has to be hosed down. You know, but if we're going to sit here, but see, here's the thing. Now you're floating RFK, and then they're trying to say, well, RFK's different, and look at Joe Biden, he's old. Joe Biden has got to run against he's got to run against Trumpism, and anything else is doing nothing but basically lowering his value, and that's bullshit.
Well, let's ask this then, because Ron DeSantis is still in the game. Do you think that Ron DeSantis has a chance to upset Trump?
No, and the reason why Ron DeSantis doesn't have the ability to upset Trump is because Ron DeSantis is an absolute, he screws himself every time he opens his mouth. I mean, Ron DeSantis, and here's the thing too, the Republicans made this mistake. The Republicans, when they went down and they went for Donald Trump, they literally acted as if Donald Trump is literally sent from God. And there's a lot of Republicans that still believe that bullshit. Donald Trump absolutely is the worst person ever. I mean, we just literally found out that son of a bitch has been giving away nuclear friggin' secrets, giving nuclear secrets away to a person who has told many other people about what Donald Trump told him. And at the end of the day, we got people that are rotting in prison because of classified documents, and Donald Trump is still running for fucking president? Get the hell out of here with that bullshit.
So then let's ask this, because do you see any Republicans? I don't see any that are running, but do you see any Republicans that I guess are not in this Donald Trump, Kabuki theater?
No, they're too chicken shit cowardly to do anything other than that. They're literally worshiping. And let's talk a little bit about the Republicans. I want to say this because I want to get this.
But what about the Lincoln Project group? Because those guys are Republicans.
No, they're doing great because they know that Donald Trump is absolutely a friggin' problem for our democracy. And look, will they vote Republican? Yeah, they'll vote. The Lincoln Project will stay conservative. But at least they're standing up to Donald Trump because they know the type of person he is. Now, here's something else. Have you not realized now that all of a sudden, Republicans have an issue with Matt Gaetz and the fact that he showed nude pictures on the House floor and spoke about crushing ED medication and following it up with energy drinks to go all night? Think about that. Let that sink in. Every one of those Republicans that he showed those pictures to over the last 4 years should have said, that's wrong, and done something about that. They never did. They sat quiet. They didn't give a shit. Oh, that's just Matt Gaetz. And now all of a sudden, because Matt Gaetz tanked Kevin McCarthy, now all of a sudden he was showing pictures. How dare he? Oh, you were silent. You sat silent for years and didn't say jack shit about him showing you those pictures. But now you're outraged. It's freaking complete and utter bullshit on the Republican Party. The Democrats hold Democrats accountable. You know, when Al Franken did what he did, they were the first ones to say, hey, you need to friggin' step down. You know, they did that. The Democrats are right now saying Bob Menendez, he needs to step down, give up his seat, and probably go to prison. You know, but the Republicans got friggin', George Santos, heaven forbid, doing anything against George Santos. And the reason why is because no matter what, George Santos will vote exactly the way they tell him to vote. And they know that, because if he doesn't, then they'll cut ties with him immediately too. The Republican Party has no values whatsoever. And we're watching this shit play out in front of us.
Well, there's a lot of talk, with the Republican Party, the talk about the work. I know Trump did this. We go back to West Virginia, and you brought this up in previous interviews, that Trump went in there with the gold shovel, and he never did anything for those workers. I mean, you did that.
That some bitch ain't never done a damn thing for the people of West Virginia. Went down there and acted like he was running a damn shovel. We lost more coal jobs under Donald Trump than anybody else. And what's sad though is that the Republican Party in West Virginia, they know that the people don't pay no damn attention to what's going on, so they don't tell the people any damn thing. And that's why you got people like Jim Justice running for Senate now, and he'll probably win, even though he's a friggin' grifter that ain't done a damn thing for the state of West Virginia. He lied to become governor, and then he ain't done nothing but enrich himself.
I want to go into some military issues, but just to finish this off, how do we bring people together? Because like a guy like you, that's a working man, that's a military guy, you're a guy that I feel like, and I know you did run for president for a short period of time. You didn't get that attention that you should have. That's, said and done, and we won't have to rehash that. But you're a guy that I could see Trump people voting for, and I believe some of them did. You can go more deep into that.
Republican followers.
But we need to bring these people together. I believe we can. I believe the back and forth between the right and the left is hurting the country. And there is a deeper message with workers' rights and how to bring people together that we're missing here on the right and on the left. And we need to find somebody that can bring both these people together. This is the problem, and you may not like this. We have people like Trump that are just blowhards, that are just selling that work is bullshit, and nothing happens when they go in power. And again, to be fair, Joe Biden has done some stuff, as you stated, for the workers, but there's all that stuff about, the MAGA Republicans. I don't think that's good to talk about for the country, because you have people that do believe in Trump, but they're brainwashed, as you've stated many times on this program. And there's got to be a better way to get to these people than to just call them MAGA Republicans or racists or something. A lot of these people are blaming it on the immigrants or blaming it on the other, because they've been brainwashed and told by these television programs, by these demagogues like Trump, like talk radio in general. These people can be saved. And I believe that all this bullshit on the right and the left is hurting the country. That's what I wanted you to, before we go into
Hillary Clinton recently said that there needs to be a deprogramming for a lot of people. And understand that, when Donald Trump goes down, first and foremost, every single day, I believe that more and more people are waking up.
I agree with you.
When we're watching Donald Trump and we're starting to see the evidence that will be laid out in front of us, they have got to be able to convict Donald Trump and show the people how Donald Trump was able to do what he did. Right now, Donald Trump has over 500 LLCs. And now there's a lot of people that are really believing that Donald Trump has been participating in money laundering for forever, literally. So Donald Trump needs to be not just prosecuted, but it has to be where all of the people get to see the evidence laid out in front of them, because some of them will change their mind. Some of them won't. Some of them won't. We've got some people, and
I'm never going to get to everybody. But
here's the thing: you're not going to get to them because you can't get to them because they're racist. And they love Donald Trump because Donald Trump is racist. Donald Trump hates people of color. We know that. Donald Trump never once talked about building a wall north of friggin' North Dakota. No, it was always the wall down there on our southern border. It was, we need to sink boats with UAVs that are coming, up through Florida. You mean Cubans. You mean Cuba? And that's what gets me. Is you go down to Florida and you got people that are Cuban who are going, Trump, Trump, Trump. Are you out of your friggin' mind? But that's where we're at. True. We've got to educate people. And every single look, do I think that Donald Trump can beat Joe Biden, I don't. I don't at all. I think that he beat Donald Trump by 7 million votes. He'll beat Donald Trump by 25 million votes this time. The ages of 18 to 25, that's the reason why Vivek Ramaswamy was talking about we need to raise the voting age to 25 because the Republicans know 18 to 25 don't give two shits about the Republican hatred that these people are all about. You know?
Yeah, but you do have to have a candidate that's going to get those people out, such as Barack Obama.
Look, but look, I mean, at the end of the day, Joe Biden is hitting home runs for them too. You know, he just now, forgave another shit ton of money for people with college debt. You know,
but you do agree that the enthusiasm that Barack Obama showed on the campaign trail.
You're never going to have anybody. You're never going to have another.
I think Gavin Newsom can get close to that.
Well, you know what? You may be right there, Gavin Newsom. But here's the thing, though. You know, Gavin Newsom. You know, Barack Obama had everything. Everything. And, you know, he was also a person of color. So, you know, he still had to fight harder. Gavin Newsom is somebody that can walk into a room and automatically get everybody's attention. I don't think we will ever have another person like President Barack Obama, who also had an amazing wife. You know, they can attack them all they want, but the truth is both Barack Obama and his wife are very, very intelligent, have a phenomenal resume in terms of their education. They got things done. It was just that way. But I will tell you, you know, I still believe that Joe Biden is the best way ahead. Now, if Gavin Newsom decides at the last minute and he coordinates with Joe Biden, I don't want to see Gavin Newsom and Joe Biden run against each other. I don't, you know, but if they made the decision, if Joe Biden, and I believe Joe Biden would be this kind of guy, if Joe Biden sat down and thought, if I run, I'm going to lose because of my age, I have no doubts that Joe Biden would say, Gavin, it's time for you to step up. But
I think the campaign is already in cahoots right now with Gavin Newsom.
But that's the thing. Joe Biden still believes that he can win because at the end of the day, the Republicans can scream about his age all they want, but he's still creating jobs. He is over 13 million jobs under friggin' Joe Biden. You know, Joe Biden actually convinced Mexico to pay for some of the damn wall. You know, Donald Trump screamed infrastructure every day. Joe Biden got it done, and that has created jobs everywhere. And oh, by the way, we got Republicans out here now taking photographs in front of bridges that they friggin' voted no on.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, when the time comes, I'm telling you, I still believe that Joe Biden's got what it takes.
Yeah, we got to call a spade a spade. When you're telling the truth, you're 100% right on that stuff with the Republican Party. They've been doing that stuff for years before Joe Biden. When a bill comes in,
I just sit here and I think to myself, you know, the Republican Party and the people that are within. I mean, you know, you got Scalise, who says he's like David Duke without the baggage, you know, and then you got Jim Jordan, GYN. You know, I mean, a guy who absolutely made phone calls to people in tears, telling them to please lie for him because he looked the other way while a friggin' daggone sports doctor
Ohio State,
on his people. So, I mean, that's the best that the Republicans have to offer? Are you kidding me? And oh, by the way, the Republicans still haven't figured out how to deal with the far, far right. You do realize that no matter who the Republicans put in place, all they have to do is piss off one single person, and they're going to do the same damn thing. And oh, by the way, the Democratic Party has no responsibility whatsoever to support any friggin' Republicans. The Republicans are in the majority. It's up to the Republicans to pick a speaker. And if they can't do it, that's not the Democrats' fault. I keep seeing Republicans now saying the Democrats voted with Matt Gaetz. No, they didn't. They just had no reason to vote for Kevin McCarthy because Kevin McCarthy lied on everything that he promised the Democrats. So why should they throw him a lifeline? Make no mistake about it. If the Republican Party right now says that they're going to evict Matt Gaetz, I bet you $1 million that every single Democrat will vote to get rid of Matt Gaetz as well. Democrats don't give two shits about none of those assholes on that side. That's a fact.
All right. I want to get into Israel and Ukraine in just a second.
All right.
This is about to end for some. This has got the timer. Can you jump right back in? I'm going to cut loose.
As long as it's the same one.
Yeah, it's the same length. You got it.
All right,
I'll be
I'm
back
right
in
back.
just a second.
All right, man.
All right, this is going to cut. All right, so let's get into Israel. Obviously, that just happened. I know there's not a lot of information about that, so we'll run the gamut on that quick. What is your take on what's going on in Israel as of right now?
Well, we keep hearing a lot of things that potentially this could be Russia and Iran and maybe even getting information from Donald Trump. I don't care. My thing here with Israel and with the Palestine, the only issue with Palestine is that they allow Hamas to exist. That's a terrorist organization. Hamas is pure trash. But if you take Hamas out of it, okay, if you take Hamas out of it and you just look at Palestine and Israel, do Palestinians not deserve to exist? Do they not deserve to live? Because you need to understand that one thing that Israel does is Israel will basically say, you know what? We're going to take that whole entire neighborhood over, and we're going to move basically people from back in the States to come back to Israel to live. And they'll literally take that land away from the Palestinians. Palestinians deserve the right to exist. Now, you know, if Palestinian is supporting Hamas, then they're wrong. But once again, when everything, you know, if you built a home and all of a sudden somebody just deemed that, you know what, we want that home, and they told you to get out, would you be friendly to them? We wouldn't. You know, both sides need to stop basically, you know, doing what they're doing towards each other. And I will tell you that both sides are wrong in certain aspects. Now, Hamas, you know, over 900 people have been killed in the last 24 hours. You know, I'm going to tell you right now, you know, Israel has a right to defend themselves against Hamas. But, you know, it would be nice if the people of Palestine would absolutely run Hamas out, because you're never going to get the Palestinians and the Jewish people to ever meet in the middle as long as Hamas is a part of this as well.
And thank you for analyzing that. I know it's not a lot of information out right now. It's an ongoing situation. So obviously things could change any second, any minute. But thank you from a person that was in the military, that served for many years, won many medals. You do have that inside information of what, you know, goes on the military. And I want to go into this because I know we only have about 14 minutes left. Ukraine war.
Yep.
Everybody has different thought points on this. There's a lot of Republicans against this. There's a lot of Republicans for this. A lot of Democrats for it. A lot of Democrats against it.
Yep.
So
think about this. Why on earth? Yeah. You know, I look at this and I say to myself, you know, Ukraine was a sovereign nation that was invaded by Russia. And the world begged Vladimir Putin, please do not invade Ukraine. He still built up his forces in Belarus right on the border and also the Russian border. And then he launched. We knew exactly when he was going to launch, and he launched. He didn't get what he wanted, okay? He thought he was going to have Kyiv in 3 days. And make no mistake about it, they've already found information that said that as soon as they took Ukraine, they were going to immediately invade Moldova. They were going to go into Poland. Poland right now is considered an area right now that everybody's worried about. Poland knows how to fight. We are in Poland. Americans are in Poland. 82nd Airborne has a brigade, I believe, in Poland right now. So, you know,
don't we have to tread kind of lightly with Ukraine because of World War III issues that could happen?
No, listen, you're right.
Sure.
But the problem that we're having here is that Vladimir Putin's not going to stop at Ukraine. You know, Vladimir Putin's pissed off because we have stepped in and decided to assist Ukraine with at least finances and equipment. You know, but at the end of the day, everybody knows that Vladimir Putin, he wants to go back to the old days where they control Yugoslavia, where we actually have a damn, you know, go back to the Cold War maps. You know, at the end of the day, what Americans need to understand, how many Americans were killed by Russians yesterday? You know?
Zero.
How many Americans were killed by Russians last week in the battlefield?
Zero.
Do you realize that before they invaded Ukraine, Russia was our #1 adversary? We looked at Russia as they are the most powerful military that absolutely stands against the United States of America. Russia is not our friend. China is not our friend. The only thing that really saves us with China is all we have to do is turn off the grain. And within 30 days, China will have a mass starvation that will absolutely spread across their country. China also, because of all the years of we're only going to let you have one child and it needs to be a male, now they don't have they have everybody up at the top, but they don't have the youth to take care. They're expected by 2050 to lose 600 million people in China. But at the end of the day, we're not losing any lives in fighting for Russia. We're not. Ukraine is the one who is losing all the lives and is kicking Russia's ass. So for us to help them to continue so we don't have to send our troops and put boots on the ground and die, then we should be doing everything in our power to support them. And the only reason why the Republicans are now against it is because Republicans support Russia. They support Vladimir fucking Putin. We know they do. Many of them were fucking in Russia last friggin' 4th of July.
But this goes back before Biden, Obama, Trump, with the NATO buildup with Russia. Russia did not want that. Yeah. It's been going on since Bush.
Russia does not want to have NATO nations on their border.
Right.
It's no different than North Korea. The only reason North Korea exists, it's not against China does not want Americans on their border.
But some people would say that that's why they didn't do this under Trump, was because Trump had a relationship with Putin and he knew that Trump was not going to.
Vladimir Putin has a lot of information on Donald Trump. There's a reason why Donald Trump absolutely will do anything and everything he can for Vladimir Putin. You know, there's a lot of people that believe that there's all kinds of, he's got a lot of stuff to blackmail Donald Trump. And why wouldn't you think something like that? I mean, you know, goodness gracious, we know that Donald Trump was on Epstein Island. We know for a fact that Donald Trump actually said that he grabs him by the you-know-what. So, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, Vladimir Putin, let me tell you something. Who does Donald Trump revere? Who did Donald Trump put on a high pedestal? He didn't put friggin' the president of Paris, the chancellor of Germany.
He put Jared Kushner on the highest pedestal. Actually,
you're right. But the thing about it is who did Donald Trump respect? Donald Trump respects friggin' dictators. Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin, the friggin' Saudi prince. He respected them people. Because why? Because Donald Trump has always only wanted to be a dictator. The reason why Donald Trump wants to get back to power is so that he can make sure he never lets it go, so that he doesn't have to stand basically for his crimes that he has committed. And that's the problem. Donald Trump wants to, and make no mistake about it, Donald Trump, if he would literally kill anybody, if he thought that it would keep him in power, he would absolutely do anything in his power to attack Democrats, to do anything and everything he could to make sure that they would never be able to threaten his dictatorship ever again. That's an absolute fact.
I want to get.
Go ahead.
I just want to get these two in because we're rounding out on like 7 minutes right now. So last two topics very quickly. A military issue. You were in the military. You know, many years, many awards, the trans issue in the military. What is your opinion on that? A lot of people have very mixed reviews. A lot of people I've talked to in the military are not for that. And also the trans and women's sports. If you could give us both of what
first of all, those are two different things. First of all, in the military, let me tell you something. Do they pass the exams? Can they carry their as long as they can meet the standards, I don't give a shit who it is. We used to say that we could not let women, women were not able to join the special forces and Marine and the Rangers and guess what? Women are everywhere now. Women are wearing Ranger tabs, they're wearing sapper tabs. I believe a woman recently just completed the SFAS for Green Berets. So if you can meet the standards, then it doesn't matter what your sex is. You should be allowed to serve. Everybody wants to serve their country, should have the ability to serve their country. Now, taking that same thing and talk about sports, I will tell you that I do not think that a man who all of a sudden says that he feels like a woman should be placed in certain sports. if you're talking about MMA fighting, I don't think that that's really right. I disagree with that. But other than that, I don't have a problem. If you're talking about sports that can basically do harm to one another, I disagree with that.
So let me just play that. I agree with you on the military. I think this is kind of like the play about when they used to have an issue with gays in the military. I'm with you. They're having trouble recruiting for the military right now as it is. We need to get people in there that,
well,
God,
it's hard. It's hard.
What the hell they are.
But the problem is,
whatever.
But I mean, the problem is today is we have
obesity.
We have a generation of kids who grew up with technology. Now, I will tell you this, make no mistake about it. Those kids that are joining the military today are phenomenal. We're talking about now we have UAVs. We do all kinds. We are top notch and everything like that. And those kids are great for that. The problem that we're having is we're not able to get people to join things like the infantry, the combat engineers, the scouts. It's hard to get these kids today to go into that, those jobs because a lot of them can't hack it. They can't make it. I'm going to tell you right now, I spent my whole entire career in 12 series, which is really nothing more than infantrymen with dynamite. Our job was to blow shit up. Our job was to clear areas so that the infantry could then go down those routes. And I will tell you, it's a tough friggin' world. If you don't know what a Hornet mine is, it's a mine that weighs about 40 pounds. Jump one I've parachuted with one of those in my damn rucksack. Hit the ground. I tell people all the time, jumping out of an airplane is just a means to get to the fight. The problem is when you hit the ground. When you hit the ground, you got to pick everything you got, throw it on your back, and you got to move throughout the night because you got to accomplish a mission by 5 o'clock in the morning. And it's not an easy task. And a lot of these kids today aren't raised in an environment where they can do those things. There's a lot of parents out there that absolutely, are allowing their kids to sit behind a TV all day long, and it's absolutely making them unhealthy. That's just how it is.
Yeah, it's really sad. I just want to cap off with this last point about the women's sports issue. I've interviewed quite a few women on that, soccer players, basketball players. Basketball, we don't see a lot of women dunking because the hip issue is different from a man to a woman, where when they jump, it's different. They can't get that lift like, men can. Soccer is different. A lot of these girls are 5'6", 5'7", 5'8". Guy comes 6'4", built like a rock, is going to have that advantage. We saw that with the swimming issue.
Yeah, imagine you've been working your whole life to play a sport. You finally got to that point, and then you get beat out by a person who's basically
that's what I think of. If I don't have any kids, and I'll end with this, and I'm always grateful to have you on. We might not agree 100% on everything. Definitely not a Trump person, though. You can know that for a bet. But just to hammer home this point, the thing is with these, if I don't have any kids, if I had a kid, a girl for that matter, and I'm sending her to camps and she's working out and I want her to be the best that I can have her be, and she loves this sport, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, whatever it may be, regardless. And she's out there, and then some guy comes out there, God bless people, whatever they want to be, trans, not trans, gay, straight, who gives a shit? It doesn't bother me, who cares? But in the sport, I would be pissed off if I had a girl and then some guy takes the trophy away because they wanted to transition 1 year before or 6 months off. There's been a girl, they had it on the news that this high school, it was a guy that transitioned. He hit the volleyball, he spiked it, he hit the girl in the face, it broke her nose. She was out for a while, she couldn't play. You can't have this stuff going on. Again, if you want a league with just trans men and women, do it. It's very strange how you never see any trans girls transitioning to men in the football, in basketball, baseball, because we know that men and women are different. They're different. Their physical abilities are different. Anyways, go ahead. as we
No, no.
end.
I mean, to me, that I would not want to see a person who is a man who basically decides that now they want to be a woman. I don't want them to be in MMA fighting women.
Right.
But I will tell you that when you're talking about the professional, levels. I will tell you that I knew a person that played professional softball in Japan because that's a good place to play. And I'll tell you right now, I bet you money I couldn't hit her in terms of with the baseball bat. I couldn't do it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you still have to be very, very skilled to be on that level, regardless, whether it's female sports or male sports. But like I said, I can totally understand and can feel for somebody, that it's like, I've worked my whole life to be at this level, and then I get there, and then somebody comes and takes it from me because they're a man that says he wants to claim as a female. I think that when you're talking about sports, especially sports where people can be hurt, I don't think it's right.
I think, and I'll end with this and really shut up this time. When we talk about fighting for women's rights, I don't really know where the feminists are on this issue. I don't hear from too many feminists on this issue. I think it's kind of sad because, again,
I don't think a lot of them take that up as an issue because at the end of the day, even they kind of feel like, is it really, do we want to die on that hill fighting that battle?
It is women's rights, but no, I hear you. Anyways, Richard Ojeda again, Richard Ojeda on the Facebook. He's going to be on at 8:30 again on YouTube also, and then Ojeda for America. Listen, you've changed me a little bit from when we started the conversation. I haven't went fully toward Biden. I'm still in the middle, but I have, and I will continue watching your program.
I'll get you over that hump. I'll get you over that hump. Hey, let me say something real quick.
Yeah,
it's
go ahead.
Ojeda Live on YouTube and Facebook, and also turnleftpac.org. Go there and help us out. We're trying our damnedest to make sure that we can take back the house.
Yeah. Listen, you're a hero. Regardless what people that watch this believe, think. I know we have a lot of liberals watching. I know we have a lot of conservatives watching now, but God bless you. You know that our back and forths are all fun and dandy. And
I always enjoy the live taco, brother. Always enjoy it.
All right. Anyways, I'll let you get back to business, but we'll speak soon. Thanks so much, Richard.